deliciously fast and easy. It's Spaghetti Aglio Olio e Peperoncino, a pasta dish you can enjoy anytime, from lunch to a midnight snack, as they do in Italy. It's easy, yes, but not everyone can achieve the silky sauce that Italians crave. And so, today on Piatto Recipes, we'll show you how to make a simple spaghetti aglio e olio with a sauce that coats every strand of pasta with a perfect cremina, as they say in Italy. Let's start with the ingredients. Spaghetti, a classic choice. The garlic, 1 clove per person. The extra virgin olive oil, 3 tablespoons a person, and the chili pepper, 1 fresh chili pepper a person. But it's very important to choose the right one, as we will see later on. Finally, the parsley. Yes, it's an optional, but it adds a pop of color and freshness at the end. Spaghetti aglio olio is a dish you can whip up in about 10 minutes, just the time it takes to cook the pasta. This is what we need: a little pot for hot water and a large skillet where we'll make our soffritto and where we'll be cooking our pasta for most of the time. We start by putting the water on to boil. No salt is added, and I'll tell you why in a minute. The garlic, the star of our dish, can be prepared in different ways depending on how much of its flavor you want in the dish. The mildest form would be to leave it in the sweater, as they say in Italian, in camicia. In other words, leaving the clove in the skin. For more intense flavor, you can thinly slice the garlic or even crush it, make it a puree. We prefer thin slices because the surface area of the garlic slices release a ton of flavor into the oil, while the garlic itself remains delicate. Best of all, you can even remove the garlic slices if you have guests who do not enjoy pieces of cooked garlic. This one, take it off. And now we'll move on to the peperoncino, the chili pepper. But what should you choose here? And how much should you use? Here, we've got 3 different types of pepper with different levels of spice. A jalapeno, a raw wheat, also known as a Thai pepper or bird eye pepper, and a habanero. The raw wheat, with its 100,000, 150,000 Scoville rating, is spicy, but not excessively so. With this level, we're gonna add 1 pepper per person, minced. After all, we're making aglio e olio and not another Italian classic, which is called arrabbiata, a kind of very spicy pasta. Okay, we're gonna remove the seeds. And be sure not to touch your eyes with your hands until you have washed up well, or alternatively, use food-safe gloves while handling these peppers. If you want to achieve silky cremina, that is the goal of so many Italian pasta sauces, we need to take a minute to talk about the pasta itself, how to select a brand, and how to cook it for dishes like this. Here we have 3 common pasta brands found in Italy and abroad. Let me say right off the bat, don't buy Barilla for this dish, since it won't release enough starch during the cook time, and we need starch to create a creamy sauce. Between Rummo and Molisana, it's a tougher call. But we have found that Molisana pasta produces the most starch, so we're using it here. But here, take a look at the difference in structure between the Barilla and the Molisana, which is trafilata al bronzo, which means that the pasta stamp or cutter is made of bronze. Is that a big deal? Yes, it is. This creates a more porous pasta surface, making the pasta more tasty, better able to bind to pasta sauces and condiments, and yes, it helps the pasta to release more starch from its surface. Finally, we mince a handful of flat leaf parsley, which we're going to add at the end of the cook time. We do save the stems for our soffritto itself. The water is boiling. We throw the pasta in to cook for 2 minutes. Or maybe less, just enough time to make the pasta a little flexible before we transfer it to the pan for the rest of the cooking time. And again, do not add salt to the water. We'll explain why later. And here we go. While the pasta is cooking, we prepare the flavors for our sauce. In a large skillet, we add extra virgin olive oil. As we said, 3 tablespoons a person. We're making the pasta for 2, so 6 total here. And in goes the sliced garlic, minced chili pepper, and few parsley stems, all at once. We will sauté for just a couple of minutes, about the same amount of time we're pre-cooking the pasta. In fact, we're doing these 2 steps at the same time to have the pasta ready for the pan when the soffritto is also ready. We do want a garlic that is golden but not brown. This is very important, because when the garlic gets brown, it releases flavors that are not so pleasing. The soffritto smells amazing already. And here we go, just in time for the pasta. Notice how our pasta is still pretty rigid, just a bit flexible. We add 2 ladles of hot water. And now we're going to cook the pasta like a risotto, adding a ladle of water at a time when the pasta needs it. In other words, when the water is absorbed by the pasta, almost completely, not entirely absorbed. And we're gonna go like this until the pasta, the spaghetti, are al dente. How do you find out when it's al dente? Well, first of all, it's written in the pasta package. Second, and more important, you have to try it. When you feel that it's cooked outside and has a little bit of a bite on the inside, there you have it. That's a pasta cooked al dente. This one, for example, needs to be cooked for 11 minutes to reach al dente. We cooked it 2 minutes on the pot, so we have 9 minutes to go over here. But of course I'm gonna check around the 8-minute mark, just to be sure. And as for the salt, add it in 1 minute before the end of the cooking time. Cooking the pasta like a risotto isn't any more difficult, nor does it take more time than cooking it on a pot. It's simply the best way to ensure that all the starch that the pasta releases goes where we want it, into our sauce, where it will create an emulsion with our olive oil and form that beautiful silky cremina. Another advantage to cooking the pasta in this way is that it will soak up more flavor from our soffritto as it cooks. And again, do not add salt to the water that you're cooking the pasta in. The pasta, acting as a sponge, would absorb over the course of the cook time the entirety of this water that you're giving to it, together with the salt. You're gonna have a pasta so salty that you can't even give it to the goats. Perfect. We're gonna continue to add water as needed until the timer goes off. This is the same technique used to make spaghetti alle vongole, for example. Or anytime we don't have a sauce or somehow the condiment that we use struggles to bind with the pasta. And that is the case, for example, when we have only water and olive oil as a condiment. Also is the action of stirring the pasta vigorously that helps release the starch from the outside of the pasta. Check out our video channel for more examples of this type of cooking. And here we are. Now it's time to salt. Add the parsley leaves. Just leave some aside for garnishing the plate. And there you have it. What an amazing dish. It looks delicious, smells delicious. Aglio olio e peperoncino. Oh, check our beautiful cremina. I mean, seriously, come take a look at this. Look how creamy this is. Look at it. Look at the pasta strands. You see how shiny, silky they look like? That's what I'm talking about. That's an aglio olio that is cooked to perfection. Simple, fast, so tempting. In fact, I think I'm gonna have it as a midnight snack tonight. Again. And we're ready to plate and have a bite. Ready in about 10 minutes. Creamy, fragrant, delicious, and buon appetito. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to click the bell. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment to let us know how your spaghetti aglio olio e peperoncino turned out.